Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into the channel. I want to talk a little bit about finding your own voice on the instrument. And that's not as simple a thing as a lot of people think. A lot of people say, well, just practice and play and then your voice kind of emerges and comes out. But what happens when you play multiple instruments, you play 12 string, you play 6 string, you play electric guitar, you play banjo-guitar like I do. I have a different voice on all of those instruments. When I play them, my personality kind of comes through, but it's a little bit different for each instrument. It's definitely a different thing between 6 string and 12 string. I got to thinking about this last night. I was just playing along with some cover songs. I'll plug into my system here at home and with my electric guitar, and I'll be playing along with I was trying to do Steely Dan's what was it, Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and Reeling in the Years. Had to think of the tune here real quick, and I can play the notes for them, but I never sound exactly like the record, and that's always the thing that kind of bothered me. I'm kind of, whenever I'm trying to play a cover, I want to get as close to the actual sound of the recording as I possibly can. And if you're a guitarist that plays in a cover band, then this gets to be really complicated, because every hit song, every song that you might cover is going to be played by a different guitarist who's using different gear, different pedals, different amps, and to try to even approximate their sound on a lot of stuff, well, you just end up having to buy a whole lot of gear, and then you're playing for a bar gig that you're going to pay $150, $200 for, and then you took $10,000 worth of gear to the gig. So it's a losing battle trying to sound like everybody else. My first nice electric guitar that I ever bought was an Ovation, not a Deacon, but an Ovation Breadwinner. You probably have seen these, and they are just real oddball guitars. And they had active electronics. They had an 18-volt preamp, had put 2 9-volt batteries in this thing. That was the first electric guitar I ever owned. And it had some oddball features that I just didn't know what was in the guitar. Now, all these years later, so I look back and go, hey, that was pretty cool. But that guitar did not sound like any other guitar. It didn't sound like a Les Paul. It didn't sound like a Strat. It didn't sound like a Telecaster. You could kind of approximate the sounds, but it never would sound like those things. The construction, the electronics on that thing were all completely different. It had its own unique sound, but it was not a sound that you heard. So you wanted to play along with Clapton or cover something by Santana, well, you just couldn't sound like that. And eventually I sold the thing and got another instrument to try to get me more in the ballpark so I could play covers and things. And I actually missed that guitar because I realized then it had some features that were very unusual that were actually pretty cool, but it was long since gone. Now you can't even touch those things for just like $2,500 if you're going to find one. The idea behind this, though, is that with that guitar I sounded different from everybody else, and trying to sound like everybody else, well, it was just impossible. Then when I got other guitars that were more akin to what people like a Strat or something, well, even when I played those, I didn't sound like everybody else. My pedals, my amp, and things were different. I could get close enough to survive in a cover band, but eventually just realized that, well, you're just going to sound like you no matter what you do. There's certain things I couldn't do just because of the size of my hands. There's the real classic, like the Chuck Berry riff that people do, that kind of, I can't even reach it here. I'm playing at the 7th fret. I'm at the 7th fret and I can barely reach that. Chuck Berry would be playing all over the place with that, and down in the 2nd position, his hands stretching like 7 frets or something. My hands just couldn't do that, so I had to develop my own way to play. You will do the same thing, and what you'll find out is that when you finally arrive at having your own style or your own voice on the instrument, it's largely made up of you working around your limitations. There are certain things like playing bar chords on a 12 string. I tried all kinds of ways to avoid that, and I came up with all kinds of chords and things I can play in lots of different keys, without having to play bar chords. So I want to play an E flat chord. There, I just would substitute an E flat 6. If I gotta play a B flat, I'll just play the B flat 6. So you find different ways around things without having to play the bar chords. So I developed a certain way of playing on 12 string. On 6 string, I play a little bit differently because the string tension is not there, fewer strings. I play differently. If you put me on an electric guitar, I've got a whole different kind of sound. So as you develop as a musician, as a guitarist, don't have too much anxiety over trying to sound like everybody else. Let's let your own natural voice emerge out of the instrument, out of playing. You'll work around your limitations. You'll find inventive ways to do it. And the invention that you come up with is going to be uniquely yours. Maybe you'll see somebody else do something and go, hey, that's an idea. But when you interpret it with your own anatomy, your own instruments, and your own gear, it's going to sound like you. Celebrate that. Don't run away from it. If you play in a cover band, well, that's great. But over a lifetime, you're going to learn to sound like you and enjoy it and get more confident with it. So I encourage you, explore your limitations, find workarounds for things, and then let those things define your particular personality and your style. You'll get a lot more enjoyment of the guitar that way, and the music you make will be uniquely yours. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.